What's going on, everybody? Jim Laird joining you live from Nicaragua. I hope you're doing good. I'll probably end up sharing this on YouTube as well, because this little live's gonna have a lot of really great information. It's gonna be pertinent to a lot of different people. Kind of a little bit of overcast here today. We're out walking with Dom DeVino, the crazy little Nika dog. It's a nice day here. It's a little cloudy and overcast, which is fine, but still beautiful. I'm doing a lot of calls, answering a lot of questions. Jake Campbell was nice enough to promote my men's group to his email list, and it kind of exploded. So we're gone from 50 people up to almost 300. So I'm answering a lot of questions, and it's very interesting. This comes up over and over again. People, they start something new or they do something new, do a new program, they change diet, and they get some really great results for 4 to 6 weeks, and the results start to slow down, and then they're looking for the next big thing to try. And this happens over and over again, whether it's with strength training or nutritional stuff. It happens with keto a lot, because when you cut out, a lot of refined starches, you lose water. And then that water, that starts to slow down. You lose like 10 or 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks. And then you're like, oh my goodness, the scale, it's not moving anymore. But there's no reason after 4 to 6 weeks to make any radical changes or to go chasing for fancy programs. There's going to be times when strength gains slow down, fitness gains slow down. And that's where you need to double down on the basics and keep things simple and keep doing what you're doing. Of course, while you're working on the basics, you're working on your sleep. You're working on managing stress. I find that a lot of people aren't even really paying attention to those things, and they're really just looking for the next big supplement or the next big peptide, or, what can I do to make myself feel better? And they're kind of ignoring the fundamentals. And this happens with athletes too. They get caught up in looking for that next big fancy training program, or, what's a hack I can do to improve my performance, instead of looking at the fundamental basics. Something that's very interesting. A lot of people are kind of in denial, even myself, over how much stress you're actually under. And I am fortunate. I've been wearing the Aura ring now since it first came out. 6 to 8 years maybe. I was looking through my data from when I had my gym, and I was training 6-8 sessions a day, 10 people an hour. And I was looking at my stress data, and it was much lower than it is now. I've really been focusing on doing virtual work for the last 3 years, and looking at my stress data, on a day when I have 4 or 5 group calls where I'm having to be highly focused and sitting in front of a computer, my stress on my ring is much higher than when I am training people in person, moving around all day, moving plates. For me, that's much less stress. So you think about, most people are in an office all day. They're in front of a screen. They're inside, and they're not doing any kind of physical manual labor. And so low-level physical manual labor is actually therapeutic. Most people kind of don't realize that. And if you're basically in a desk all day under fake lights, indoors, and I do a ton of effort to take breaks. I just did a non-sleep deep rest. I'm going for a walk here outside. I do all my work outside, but still it's weird. I don't have a ton of stress in my life, but because I'm having to sit in front of a screen and focus, for hours on end and not move around, that's perceived as a bigger stress than when I was training people in person, data-wise. So, and I feel it. And I'm a lot older now too, but I think that modern stress of sitting in front of a screen is a lot harder than the physiology of us being outside, doing manual labor all day. I think there's great therapeutic benefits from moving at low levels, activity all day long, like the Nikas do here. And I think our modern world, taking that away from us, is a big part of the problem, particularly fake light. So you got to keep that in consideration. If you sit in a desk all day and then you think you can go to the gym and do a HIIT workout to make up for the fact that you sat for 8 to 10 hours indoors, you're going to need to go for walks. You're going to need to get some of that low level activity in to help manage your stress. Just being sedentary is a massive stress, and you can't make up for that with intensity. You just can't. And most people that try to make up for the lack of low level manual labor, low level activity with stress, end up failing miserably. So keep that in mind. So start with getting outside a couple times a day, and there's nothing wrong with training. You should train. It's just that if you think you're going to make up for sitting all day, 50, 60 hours a week in front of a screen with, a bunch of high intensity workouts, it ain't going to work. You need to get outside, every couple hours. You need to move around. You need to do some nice, easy stuff to reduce stress, to get yourself a little bit of foundation so that you can work, build some capacity so you can handle training, right? A lot of people don't think of it that way. Mental stress is a huge part of our modern world, and I think it's way worse on our physiology than I compare it to getting in your car, starting your engine, revving the hell out of your engine all day in your driveway and never going anywhere. And if you do that to your car, it's actually really hard on your car. It's much better. What's up, Mike? How you doing? It's much better for you to actually drive your car than it is for you to sit in your driveway and rev the shit out of it, right? So I hope you're having a great day today. Keep it simple, stick to the basics, and just remember, get outside, move around, get some light in your eyes, even though it's wintertime. That's something we could talk about really briefly for all you northern latitude people. Sauna is a great way to help survive the winter. Northern European cultures, Native American cultures have been using sweat lodges, saunas for eons to combat winter. You can use a more modern development, which is like a spurty vitamin D lamp to get a little bit of UV light in the wintertime. That helps. I used to, people will gasp when they hear this, but when I lived in Kentucky, I'd get really bad seasonal affective disorder. I'd go lay in the tanning bed 5 minutes, 3 times a week. And that really helped me get through the winter and battle that seasonal affective disorder, which is real. Now, obviously, I don't have to do that because I've got, even here on a dark day, the UV is still pretty significantly high. So I hope you guys have a great day, and make sure you remember to get outside today. Make sure you do some walking. Make sure you do some, take some time for silence. Most people have completely, I asked a guy today that I was talking to, I was like, when's the last time you went outside and just sat quietly and just listened to the birds sing? And he's like, I can't remember the last time I did that. Probably 10 or 15 years. We need more of that. A little of that goes a long way. Have a great day.